I'm Stephen John Drew from the official GonnaGeek.com show, a weekly geek news podcast that is a part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other awesome geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
ABC's supernatural crime drama Forever never had a hope. No chance, guys, of ever being successful and going beyond one season. Let's just go through the litany of what I see in retrospect as mistakes that were made by the ABC brass. The show aired at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday. This show was, in a lot of ways, PG to light M sort of rating, family friendly even at times. Why was a show like this, that's similar to maybe Castle? That's what it reminded me most of, although there's a supernatural element. It was very Castle-ish at times. Why was this on at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday? It sounds like schedule filler to me. The next thing that ABC did was, if you track on IMDb how the show was rolled out, there was a point where in November 2014 that the network started only showing 2 episodes consecutively and then having gaps which are as much as a month. So Season 1, Episode 9, 6 a.m., Tuesday, November 18th. Season 1, Episode 10, The Man in the Killer Suit, Tuesday, December 2nd. Episode 11, Skinny Dipper, Tuesday, December 9. Now get this one, Season 1, Episode 12, The Wolves in Deep Brooklyn, Tuesday, Gen 6. So this happens multiple times throughout the run of the show. Essentially from around Episode 8 or 9, this show had no chance of gaining an audience week to week. ABC, the longer I do this show, the more I realise they're not Fox, but they're close. When it comes to giving good and unique shows, this show has a twist. I won't give away the twist. It's a fascinating twist for a show of this type. It's got a Sherlockian element, and there is a touch of a supernatural element as well. Now, obviously no one needs to say this, but Judd Hirsch is incredible in this show. That's not unexpected, but Judd Hirsch, amazing in this show. So, another example of a show coming along maybe at the wrong time, not getting the network support it needed, and if anything, being just served up once again as schedule filler, and a fandom misses out on what could have been a great show. And I guess the reason that I mentioned that it has a Sherlockian element, and particularly Castle was the show it reminded me of the most. And I'm not sure if I've mentioned this, but I did just watch Castle in its entirety in 2025, so it feels quite fresh to me. Castle, at its best, was better than this show, but on average wasn't. And part of me wonders if the production of this show lent a little bit too much, meaning Forever that is, lent too much on flashbacks. Cost increases to the show that at times felt like a distraction. Things were happening in the present that were engaging and emotional and gripping, and we would just shoot off to a much more elaborate and much more production and costume-heavy flashback. And obviously, I don't make television. That was a creative choice that they made, and it did build the lore of the show up nicely, but I'm wondering if the show had have stayed in the present a little bit more and didn't require quite the cost base that a lot of those flashbacks had to have forced upon the budget of the show. I think this might have been a show that we got more of, because all of the lead cast were good. Judd Hirsch, once again, was incredible from the very first second he was on screen. And I'll finish up with this. Bern Gorman, who played Adam in the show, was the main antagonist of Season 1 and ended up being really the only main antagonist of the show. They only had one season. He was both fascinating and had a creepy calmness to his performance that won't be recognised probably forever because this show wasn't popular enough, but it really was a fantastic TV antagonist. Not something shows of this type, procedural type, cop shows, investigative shows, medical shows get right. Bern Gorman playing Adam, awesome. Judd Hirsch playing Abe, truly magisterial. Okay, that's about all I've got to say today. I was just annoyed. That's why I got on the mic today. I'm not in the most perfect environment to be recording. I'm just out and about. But it really fired me up when I realised that the schedule was just so against this show ever being successful. And I guess we'll finish up today with this. Check out the Gunna Geek Network. They're amazing people. They won't let you down. And ABC, feel free, once again, and as always, to get in the ocean. Cheers. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.